Okay. Get the hell out of here. You see what I mean? Just can't help it. They just can't. Okay. Y'all just can't help it, can y'all? I used to work at this airport valet service where people would come in and they're gonna go fly off and go to take a plane and go wherever. They used to bring their cars to us and then we go park them and we leave them there parked until when they came back from their trip. And we used to go return their car. Now this was the second job that I had just to make extra money because I already had a job. I had just got this job literally like 2 months after I got my driver's license. What my boss was telling me, he was thinking about putting me from outside on the field to putting me behind the desk and just, doing typing primarily. And if needed be, I'll come out from behind the desk, Superman that I am, and I'll park some cars. But before we could make that decision, something happened. I might scratch somebody's car. Wait, let me explain. I fucked that up completely. There's no explaining it. I fucked that up just entirely. They could have fired me, and I thought that's what they were gonna do. They was like, look, we can't have you here just fucking up all these cars. So, boss was like this dude who's like 6'2", probably 260 pounds. He looked like The Rock. You can't help but be intimidating when you're that fucking big. When he told me, he's like, yo, I'm gonna put you behind the desk. Now I'm just like, what am I gonna do, say no? So, basically, one day, the guy comes in and he comes in for his car, and then apparently he has an issue. There's an issue. He says that his gold chain that is worth $2,000 that he left in his car for a valet service is missing. Now, granted, we have cameras and everything, and it was like, oh, well, who moved the car? Who had the keys? I strictly remember the day before. All right, see these? We got key hooks right here. I got a key hook here. I got a key hook here. And this is basing them out. But at the job, we had a bunch of them. There's a bunch of different keys on the keyboard, probably hundreds of keys on this keyboard, and every day, at least 2 to 3 times a day, cars are being moved in and out. We have to keep adjusting the board accordingly. So keys, no matter if you have a bunch of shit on it or not, they're getting moved and shuffled around a bunch. Now I remember this particular day that I had to remove the board and I was moving keys around, and I remember this man had his things on his keys, and I remember, I think it was that day or whatever, that I did take his keys off because I needed a pen, and normally people leave pens in their cars. So I do remember taking his keys and going into his car and taking the keys out of his car and bringing them in, and I used them for the day. And then I remember putting his keys back on the thing. So, bow. All of that to say this, because then once this whole thing came in order and he's talking about, oh, I'm gonna call management, I'm calling the police and all that on y'all. We have cameras in the system, so what do we do? We go back, and my bosses, they all go back and they all go check the camera. They was like, who's handling this man's keys or whatever. So at this point, they just asked me, yo, you stole the keys? I said, no. Secondly, my boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he brings me into his office, shows me the videotape of me taking the man's keys and then going to his car and then coming back and putting his keys back on, and he says that when I came back in the building that he couldn't see the keys when I flat out saw that the chain was with the keys, and I saw it in the video and he didn't believe me. So he's all like, yo, it's you just say you did it, you took the keys. And I'm like, no, I ain't take the keys. And at this point, I'm getting offended because I was really like, at that point, I didn't care that he was 6'2", probably 260, could probably choke me out with his finger and thumb if he wanted to and wring my little fucking black neck out. I didn't care. At this point in the story, I was getting upset. I started banging on the table and I was like, look, it wasn't me. I don't know what I started cursing at him. I don't know what took over me. I was wilding the fuck out. A couple days passed and I'm at my other job, and the owner I'm at my main job, and then the owner from the other job comes in, and this is like, he's like typical, for some odd reason, like he built in a stereotype of me that all big business white men, they have these giant ass cigars that like the size of my forearm, and he's just smoking on this big ass cigar, and he's like, hey, you're a value employee and everything, but I'm not saying you took it, I'm just saying, if you happen to know where it is, it shows up, nobody has to lose their job, no foul, no harm. I just said, well, that sounds great, sir, but I don't know where none of that is, so bye. A couple days pass, then I get a text message from, like, the person right under the boss, and she's like, oh, can you come in this day and bring in your work shirt? And I'm like, why would you ask me to bring in my work shirt? Why would you ask me to bring in my uniform if you're not asking? Like, if you're asking me to come in, I'm gonna naturally assume you want me to work, so I'm gonna automatically bring my uniform. So if you're gonna ask me to bring my uniform, y'all niggas be trying to fire me. So I'm like, oh, y'all just trying to fire a nigga, huh? So then I come in, and you know, she bring me, go to the office again, and they're just saying like, look, so it doesn't look bad on the company and everything. You know, Larry, he told me, the big boss Larry told me to tell you that, you know, we gotta let you go and that we can't have you here anymore, and that, you know, just, I didn't take it. This is some bullshit, but whatever. I have another job, so y'all can keep this and whatever. Y'all can keep this, and I didn't take it. I hope the man finds his chain. Peace the fuck out. I'm still cool or whatever, because like I said, I still have my main job where I'm making my most amount of money. And then mind you, my boy who works at both these jobs, who's working both these jobs with me, he still works there. And he was saying how oh, a couple weeks passed by, and I'm asking him like, yo, how did that situation turn out? Like, what happened? And he's just like, oh, they just dropped it. They just never, you know, dude never said nothing again after like 3. So I'm like, I lost my job for nothing? I just would have appreciated like an apology to be like, oh, well, now we know it wasn't you, so, you know, I'm sorry. Now, I don't need for them to offer me my job back or nothing, but I just would have preferred it if they would have at least apologized to the integrity of me, because I'm like, I would never steal anything, so I don't know why would they throw that on me. I know y'all, for some odd reason y'all said y'all like story time, so I told y'all this story. So yeah, if you liked at any point in this video, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget, comment down if you've ever been fired or any funny stories about your job and having people getting fired and shit. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Vine. All of those are at Combest. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I'm done.